Hello, Leyton Orient fans. Since the updated recording that myself and Nigel did towards the back end of last week, obviously an awful lot has changed. So we took the unprecedented and certainly not easy decision to close the office with immediate effect late yesterday. That was done and following the government advice from Boris Johnson to work from home where possible. And obviously being a London-based club, we certainly took that advice and made sure that the health and safety of our staff and etc. and any visitors to the ground was put first and foremost, and there aren't any roles that can't be completed from home, and we're on regular conference calls with the board, with staff at all levels to make sure that the club ticks over and we do everything we can to improve the situation. Furthermore, Martin and Ross rightly took the decision to temporarily close the training ground. Very much players are going to be focused on fitness, and we'll be checking in regularly to make sure that fitness regime is followed. I'm sure every single player will be doing that, but at the same time be chomping at the bit to get back out there on the football pitch. So I want to say thanks to the fans for their continued support, and also I want to really say massive thank you to the Braille Group for their contract extension at a very difficult and challenging time. It's very welcomed, and we look forward to working with them even more coming into the remainder of this season and into next. So most importantly, stay well, Orient fans. Up the O's.
A big thank you for all the questions that came in from social media for our chairman Nigel Travis and the chief executive Danny Macklin around the COVID-19 virus and the impact it could have on football. We put your questions to them, and obviously they answered them in relation to Leyton Orient and what this could mean for the club. So here's what they had to say. So Nigel, first one for you. With no games for a few weeks at least, we assume cash flow issues may occur. Is the club well positioned to deal with this?
Okay, firstly I need to say that I probably sound awful. I actually feel okay. I've got a sore throat and my doctor says I don't have the virus if anyone's interested. But I am staying at home, relaxing, though it was intriguing this morning seeing that we lost on Football Manager 1-0. I would have to say the fans actually chose a pretty poor team in my view. But anyway, in terms of the question, the focus for all companies should be cash at the moment. And we've done all the projections through to the end of the season and beyond. We obviously have a number of vendors that we have to pay. We have no income. We take all this very seriously, but we think we can get through this. But the key thing is to have great visibility all the time, and that's something we have. So basically the answer is it's going to be tough, but we'll make it through.
Hi Danny, first one for you. Is there the possibility of an early season ticket renewal to combat any financial restraints that postponements would bring?
Yeah, thank you first of all for all the questions that have been posed. We are looking to launch season tickets in the very near future. We are coincidentally on the verge of launching a new ticketing system, which will come into force around about May time. The plan was to launch 2020-21 season tickets in the very near future, prior to this outbreak of coronavirus. We will be reviewing all of our options. We want to obviously get on sale with season tickets as soon as possible. There does appear to be a large appetite for fans to secure, renew their season ticket and provide some great backing, which is very much appreciated and required from our current fans, from fans that perhaps have not been for a while, as well as new fans. So as soon as we're able to announce something of what those packages will be for next season, we will very much do it. But the important thing is the question was asked about season ticket renewal. I can confidently say there will be season card that people will be purchasing next year, and we will have scanners on the gates that will allow people to have a card in their wallet rather than individual match tickets. That's an advancement for next season and something we will be very pleased to bring online in the very near future.
Nigel, if the season extends into the summer, what happens to players who are out of contract? Are they released before the season finishes?
So that's a good question. I actually read overnight about this for the Premier League, and the view there was that players would probably get a short extended contract. In fact, Danny Macklin told me this morning that at one stage cricket had to contemplate doing it. They didn't actually do it. and the net result was that they did come up with a short-term contract. Obviously, over the next 3 weeks, our players will be preparing to come back. I personally think it's going to be longer than 3 weeks, and I think what we need to do is to keep looking at the situation, keep looking at the players for next season as though everything was as normal, but at the same time we have to stay very flexible.
Back to you, Danny. We had a question asking whether the club could look into a Barnet-type 12-month-a-year membership-style ticket. Would this give the club some kind of protection in such dire circumstances?
Again, thank you for the question. So the Barnet model is not a really common one. So just for those that aren't aware of it, effectively, you spread your payment over a 12-month period. Now, the way that football finance is up and down the land, and this not specific to Leyton Orient or to any club in particular, but clubs, when they take this sort of policy, have to actually have the money held by their payment provider, and then that money is drip-fed throughout the season. So in some ways, that would hinder rather than help in the immediate, but that is something that we will look at in the future.
Another one for Nigel. What will the plan be for players and coaching staff over the next 3 weeks? Are they to train in isolation, or will training in behind closed doors matches be organised to ensure match sharpness?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Obviously, we do need to have an element of isolation, and I talked to Ross and Martin about this yesterday. We will be playing full games internally. We won't be playing in any other teams. The players are going to kind of rotate 3 days in, 3 days off. Other clubs are giving players 1 week, even 2 weeks off. We've decided that doesn't work. It's important to keep match sharpness, as the question suggests. And one of the things we're intending to do is to have more filming of training and the activities that they do, so that our fans can actually watch some live football.
Another one for you, Danny. Will the season be likely to be extended to accommodate the 5 fixtures postponed? Will this therefore lead to EFL pushing the start date back for the 2021 season?
Well, first and foremost, we hope that we're able to complete the season with all of our scheduled away games and scheduled home games at the Braille Group Stadium, because that is clearly what we all want. We want to be able to get back on the field as soon as we possibly can, but first and foremost, only when it's deemed safe by the authorities and by government to be able to do those in stadia. That's very much something of objective. The reality is we don't know what the next few weeks beyond there are going to hold. So, yeah, we very much hope that we'll be out, but there's every chance that 3 week could be extended. Here's hoping it's not. But right now, we've just got to remain patient, continue to liaise with the authorities and with the EFL, etc. And, it's going to be a painful wait for that. But unfortunately, that's what we've got to do, and health must come first.
Okay, and back to Nigel. What support are clubs getting from the EFL, financial or otherwise?
Very good. You probably heard me on Radio 5 Live yesterday saying I think we're going to be looking for government support because we are a small business. We're also looking for support from the EFL and even the Premier League. But I think the latest thing I read was that the Premier League have got their own problems because of the TV contracts that require them to keep playing, and that the TV companies are going to have problems potentially refunding subscriptions to suppliers. So everyone's in the same boat. So we're assuming we don't get any help. The EFL have offered no help so far, but it's very early in the day. I think it reinforces what I've been saying over the last few months. Football really does need to get its act together. I think the EFL is beginning to tackle the problems of sustainability. Danny Macklin's been on a working group for the EFL, and I'm confident that this and the Bury situation will bring about much needed change in the future.
Another question here is, will the Champions 50th anniversary dinner be cancelled?
That is something that we are going to communicate early next week, and unfortunately it will be that we are going to postpone rather than cancel. The event, which I believe is sold out or virtually was sold out, has an awful lot of people that are of an elderly age, including a number of the players that played in that 69-70 successful squad. And I didn't think that would be appropriate for us to just put anyone at risk unnecessarily for that. So that is something that we will do in the autumn as we're able to announce a new date, etc. We will very much be in touch, and I expect the event to be as popular as ever when we are able to get that on. And one of the points I want to really importantly add, as a non-match day business, it is absolutely vital, even in the healthier of times, for football clubs like Leyton Orient. But in these times, our non-match day event doors are very much open. We are following protocol in terms of checking that no one's been to any of the areas that are listed by the government of affected people or affected areas. We're very much following that protocol, that if anyone's travelled or has been in close contact with someone who has been to one of those areas, that they're not effectively allowed to be into the ground. But the venue, if you haven't seen it, is absolutely first class, match day and non-match day at the Braille Group Stadium, and we are urging fans to keep an eye on our website. There's going to be some exclusive packages and deals to entice fans and local residents to savour the facilities that are at the stadium. And we very much urge, if you've got a party, a celebration, a conference, a meeting coming up, to very much take advantage of that and help the football club that we all love so much. The final thing I want to say is we have had a huge amount of support from fans, from sponsors, everyone, every stakeholder connected to the club. We are blessed to be having an engaged board, a board that's got business experience across many sectors. We're obviously in very different, choppy, uncharted waters, but as a club, we will come out stronger through the other side of this. We don't know how long that choppy waters will last, but we're certainly not unaware of the challenges that are going to be posed for us whilst we're not playing on the pitch. The problems will be off the pitch. The approach that the Martin, Ross and everyone has taken has been absolutely first class, and I'd like to extend that gratitude to all of the backroom staff that are playing an absolute first class role on making sure that the club is operationally as possible, tightening our purse strings even further than we have in the past, to make sure that we are putting cash at the absolute foremost. We all play a leading role. Football is not the only industry that is going to struggle during these hard times, but when we do come out, we will have a football club that's even stronger than it is today, and we'll do that, and we'll make every Orient fan even prouder today than they were yesterday. I want to thank every single fan for their continued support. Look after loved ones, and thank you, and we'll see you on the other side.
And last one for you, Nigel. Will this suspension of the season have an impact on Orient's future and the financial plans you had in place moving forward?
Obviously, it's going to be tough. It's tough when you don't have revenue, but we'll find a way through this. I feel confident about that. As I've said to everyone many times, we're building new revenue streams, such as soccer camps, such as streaming, and those revenue streams are very important for our future. As I said in answer to the previous question, football needs to reform. That will help us as well. But I feel if we keep managing it as all businesses should be managed in a crisis situation, we will get through, come out the other side, and hopefully come out the other side in a better situation. A couple of things I'd ask our fans to consider, and I know Danny talked about this, is, we do have facilities, so if you have any events that are appropriate to run at this time, we're very happy to house them at Leyton Orient. We have all the facilities you can use. Obviously, if you need to cancel, you'll get a refund. And we would also encourage people to go online and buy any product that's Leyton oriented from the shop. In the meantime, our promise to you is we're going to keep communicating, and hopefully next time I speak to you, I will have a better voice. Thank you very much, and up the O's.